When assigning a lease agreement, the parties should first distinguish that it is an assignment and not a sublease. An assignment transfers the entire leasehold estate from the tenant to the assignee, while a sublease only transfers a portion of the estate to the subtenant. A tenant should always request consent from the landlord before attempting to assign its interest if it is not clearly stated in the contract if consent is already granted or required. Consent in many cases may be required in order to assign the tenant's interest to an assignee. In an assignment, the tenant transfers both privity of estate and privity of contract, meaning that the assignee is now the new occupant of the premises and has assumed all obligations of the contract between the landlord and the previous tenant. The assignee, in other words, has all of the rights the previous tenant held. Even though the assignee assumes the obligations of the contract between the previous tenant and the landlord, this contractual relationship does not release the previous tenant from a privity of contract with the landlord. The previous tenant is only released from his or her obligation if the landlord agrees to release them. Otherwise, it should not be assumed that assignment has released them from their original contractual obligation. The landlord may seek damages or money owed from either assignee or the original tenant in an assignment where the previous tenant was not released from its obligations. The previous tenant, however, does not have any privity of contract with the assignee and has no obligation to answer to any request by the assignee to perform any duties in the contract. State and local laws govern all landlord-tenant transactions, so a person should consult with local state and local laws when attempting to enforce an assignment agreement.